Welcome in, everyone. Today, we're diving into a truly essential explainer covering industrial electrical safety and, of course, the literal lifesaver that is the lockout/tagout protocol, or LOTO as you probably know it. We're going to break down exactly how maintenance pros protect themselves from some absolutely catastrophic hazards on the job. Let's get into it. So, here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First up, the danger of electrical hazards. Then, what is lockout/tagout? Next, the 10-step LOTO procedure, and finally, golden rules and costly mistakes. All right, starting off with Section 1, the danger of electrical hazards, understanding the stakes. Now, take a look at this number, 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 19,400 degrees Celsius. To really put that insane number into perspective for you, an arc flash can reach temperatures roughly 4 times hotter than the surface of the sun. 4 times. By wrapping our heads around this extreme life or death level of heat, we instantly realize that industrial electrical work is completely, absolutely unforgiving. There's just no room for error. And honestly, beyond just the staggering heat of an arc flash, the sheer physical consequences of these hazards demand our absolute respect before we even think about touching a machine. I mean, current passing through the human body causes violent muscle contractions, severe burns, and even heart failure. An arc blast? That can hurl flying metal fragments with explosive force. We're talking broken bones here. But you know what's perhaps the most terrifying? The silent threat. Machines suddenly springing back to life while someone is right in the middle of maintenance. That right there remains a leading cause of fatal industrial accidents today.
Which brings us nicely to Section 2. What is lockout/tagout, the ultimate prevention tool?
So what exactly is it? Well, lockout/tagout, or LOTO, is this incredibly precise, incredibly vital safety procedure used to completely isolate hazardous energy before any maintenance happens. Think of it as your physical and procedural barrier against that unexpected startup we just talked about. The entire core philosophy here is absolute control. It's about guaranteeing, not just hoping, but guaranteeing that equipment stays totally dead until the work is completely finished and every single worker removes their own personal lock.
Now here's a really crucial point. Hazardous energy isn't just electrical. As you can see, a proper LOTO procedure has to account for things like mechanical energy, think moving gears or conveyor belts. It covers pneumatic and hydraulic pressure, thermal hazards like hot steam, chemical lines, and even gravity from suspended loads or tension springs. You have to lock out all of these potential dangers, basically the whole shebang, before beginning your work. To physically prevent these crazy diverse energy releases, you're equipped with a very specific arsenal of gear. The absolute most vital component? Your personal lock. It is individually keyed and assigned strictly to you, nobody else. This lock is always paired with a clear, signed Do Not Operate warning tag. Now, for team efforts, you'd use a lockout hasp, which allows multiple workers to secure a single isolation point. Plus, you utilize specific devices like circuit breaker lockouts, valve lockouts, or cable lockouts, so you can adapt to literally any energy source you encounter on the floor. Moving right along to Section 3, the 10-step LOTO procedure. This is your playbook for survival. Okay, so the first half of this procedure is all about safely shutting things down and locking them up. Step 1 is preparation. You have to identify every single energy source and notify your team that maintenance is starting. Next, you shut down the machine using its normal controls. Step 3 is isolation, where you physically disconnect those main breakers or valves. Once that energy is severed, Step 4 is applying your personal lock directly to the isolation device. And Step 5, you attach your signed warning tag so everyone knows exactly why that equipment is locked out. And that brings us here. Honestly, if you take one thing away from this explainer, let it be this non-negotiable repeating mantra: always test before touch. Let me say it again, test before touch. You can never, ever trust a lock blindly. Before your hands go anywhere near the inside of that machinery, you have to physically verify that all the energy is completely gone. And the second half of our procedure actually builds entirely on that verification concept. Step 6, you release any lingering stored energy, venting off pressure or discharging capacitors, for example. Step 7 is the actual test before touch, verifying a true zero energy state by attempting a normal startup and double-checking by measuring voltage. Only then, at Step 8, can you actually perform the maintenance safely. Once the work is done, Step 9 states that lockout devices are removed exclusively by the person who installed them. Remember that rule. Finally, Step 10, you restore the power and confirm the machine is operating normally again. Now, abstract steps can kind of blur together, right?
So let's ask the question, how does this actually look in practice? Let's ground this whole procedure in a real-world scenario to see how these 10 steps seamlessly flow together on a real job site. Imagine you're an electrician and you've been tasked with replacing a burnt-out motor on a giant conveyor system. First things first, you inform the operators, stop the conveyor, and switch off the main circuit breaker. Bam! Normal shutdown. Then, you physically lock that breaker with your personal padlock and attach your tag. Next, you verify zero voltage using a properly rated meter, and, just to be absolutely 100% sure it's dead, you attempt to start the conveyor from the operator controls. Nothing happens? Perfect. Now you can safely replace that motor, reinstall all the guards, and clear out your tools. Finally, you remove your lock and tag, restore the main power, and test the conveyor. Ticking through these exact methodical actions is literally what prevents that machine from roaring to life while your hands are deep inside it. All right, let's wrap things up with Section 4, Golden Rules and Costly Mistakes. Mastering LOTO. What's really fascinating and a bit sobering about this is how sharply it contrasts life-saving discipline against fatal mistakes. On the left, safe practices are simple. Use only your personal lock, verify that zero energy state, and identify every source. It's systematic. But the right side, the shortcuts, that's where tragedies happen. Listen, removing another worker's lock is genuinely one of the most dangerous, reckless things you could ever do on a job site. Skipping verification just because you're rushing to get a machine back online, or simply forgetting to release some hidden stored energy, those mistakes can lead straight to a catastrophic incident. There are no shortcuts with hazardous energy. And we have to remember, even if your LOTO procedure is flawlessly executed, your personal protective equipment, your PPE, acts as your absolute last line of physical defense. Depending on the specific hazard you're facing, you are basically outfitting yourself in modern armor. We're talking arc-rated clothing, insulated gloves and safety shoes, a solid safety helmet, a face shield, hearing protection, and of course, you're doing all the work exclusively with voltage-rated tools. It's all part of the same safety ecosystem. When we step back and look at the big picture, strictly following this protocol yields massive real-world benefits. Obviously, yes, number one, it protects workers from serious injury and death. But for the facility as a whole, it also significantly reduces downtime by preventing major accidents in the first place, and it minimizes accidental equipment damage during maintenance. Ultimately, though, what it really does is build an uncompromising, rock-solid workplace safety culture. It proves to everyone on the floor that the facility truly prioritizes human life over just rushing to get a job done.
So I want to leave you with this really crucial question to chew on regarding your own workspace. Is your facility truly at zero energy before you begin work? Never just assume. Always test, always lock, and always stay safe. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you found it valuable. And as always, keep learning.
When working on high-voltage systems, always isolate, lock, and tag. Verify presence of zero voltage.